Hey guys, I am Game Advisor, and today we're going to be going over the top 6 wilderness survival games that you can play today. There are some that will be coming out in the near future, but we are specifically covering the ones that are available for you to go get right here and now. Do keep in mind these are in no particular order, but let's go ahead and jump right on into it. First up on the list is Stranded Deep. Stranded Deep is a PvE survival game where you will have to survive off of the few resources that you can find. This game will take place amongst a series of small islands in a procedurally generated map. Your ultimate goal is to escape these islands and make it back to civilization. To accomplish this though, you'll need to take out a series of bosses as well as explore the majority of your map in order to find those bosses. To do that though, you'll need to build yourself a reliable raft that will let you take yourself from one island to another. Be careful though, as one of the key features about this game is the fact that it is extremely easy to get lost in the vast ocean, since you'll have nothing but your compass to guide you as well as your own memory. Next on the list is going to be Grounded. Grounded is a PvE survival game where you have found yourself shrunk down to about the size of an ant. In this game, you and up to 3 friends are going to have to explore the backyard in an attempt to figure out how to get back to your normal size. Along the way, you are sure to encounter some weird scientific things, along with quite a few creatures that might have otherwise ignored you if you were full size. This game includes everything that you would want in a standard survival game, but throws in a somewhat interesting story to boot. It's got zip lines, bug-inspired armor, a research system, and much more. At the end of the day, Grounded is seen by many to be one of the best survival games on the market, especially for newer players to the genre. Therefore, if you or a friend haven't played a survival game, at least other than Minecraft, before watching this video, I would definitely recommend that you give this game a try. Following that is going to be Project Zomboid. Project Zomboid is a PvE survival zombie apocalypse game that is going for a lot of depth with its mechanics. Just make sure that the graphics don't fool you, as even though the controls and the art style for this game may look simple, it has everything you could want in just about any zombie survival game. The whole idea behind Project Zomboid and its creation was that you should be able to test your zombie apocalypse survival plan. This means that they want the game to have several elements of realism, at least as much as they can. Do you want to jab a pencil into a zombie's head? Well, you can do that. Will it be effective? Probably not, but nonetheless, it's something they aren't going to stop you from doing, and that seems to be the key feature here. The game does also feature a 1 life per run mentality, where if you die, you will lose all progress on that character. The world may remain the same as you left it when you died, but that character and their stats are lost forever. After that is Green Hell. Green Hell is a PvE survival game where you will have to fight for your survival while lost in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. This game really tries to push for that sense of harsh world, and oh boy does it deliver. You'll constantly have to be taking things like leeches off your body or dealing with infected wounds. Everything in this forest, no matter how large and ferocious or how small and tiny it might be, truly wants to either eat or kill you. This makes the game such an immersive experience for the player, as it sells you so well on that idea of being lost and feeling like you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, but without making the player feel stupid. The game also has a fairly lengthy story with some cinematics for you to experience. Some of the story even comes in the form of visions that you will experience through something we'll just call magical soup that starts to make you see things and hallucinate. The whole game tries to go that extra step and truly immerse you into the world, as even the inventory and UI are built into the game in such a way that it doesn't really break your immersion any more than it absolutely has to. Alrighty, we're almost there with our next game, which is going to be Raft. Raft is another survival game where you will find yourself lost at sea. The difference between this game and Stranded Deep, however, is the fact that the vast majority of your time will likely be spent at sea. There is also a much heavier emphasis on the story itself, as well as the raft that you're living on. Raft is all about, well, your raft, and using it to get from one place to the next. To accomplish this, however, you'll have to unlock new technologies through the game's story, which is surprisingly good and filled with an assortment of puzzles and interesting things to do. The story within the game never really felt like it was just artificially put in to please a portion of the player base, but instead feels like it was carefully planned out from the first day they started developing it. And thus, I highly recommend you guys check it out if it sounds even remotely interesting to you. Now, before we move on to the last game on this list, I do have a couple honorable mentions for you. And this is going to be, first off, Subnautica. If you don't know what Subnautica is, basically imagine a futuristic person lost in the middle of an ocean trying to survive. And it is a great experience to have. The other game I have for you is Icarus, which is a good game in its own right, but unfortunately it kind of gives you this sense of you know exactly what you're doing, so I decided just to put it in honorable mentions instead. I would recommend you check out both of these games if either one is something that sounds interesting to you. Let's move on to our last game, which is The Forest. The Forest is arguably the most well-known wilderness survival game on this list, as it's been around for quite some time. I think it's even arguable that The Forest was one of, if not the first survival game, to truly give you that feeling of being lost and afraid in the wilderness. The whole game has an incredibly interesting storyline, even if it is poorly told at some points. With that being said, the horror elements really help to sell you on the idea that you are in an unknown land and in desperate need of rescue. The game focuses around these creatures that will attack you on a regular basis, which also helps to keep things interesting since you will constantly be encountering them too. You will always have to stay on your toes. The game, like several others on this list, also has a VR option for those of you who are interested in it to help sell you on that sense of immersion. With that being said, if you haven't checked out The Forest and are watching this video, then I highly recommend you go give it a shot, since it is probably the most popular game on this list. And with all that being said, feel free to like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy this content and you want to see more content like it. Otherwise, I want to give a big shout out to our Platinum and Above channel members, which include Caustic FPV and Jim Phillips. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.